Hello, you are listening to Skipping the Queue. My name is Red. We're covering Blazar episode 22 today. I am joined by Mel.
You know, living in modern times when kaiju are a problem is unfortunate, and sometimes you need to let it out, your concerns and your talk about experiences. Well, thankfully, with Squarespace, you can make a website.
Shut the fuck up. We're also joined by Razan.
Cross-generational friendships can save everyone.
Yeah. As can your insurance company. We're covering episode 22 of Blazar, which I learnt that I guess the noble insurance salesman is a thing in Japan.
I think that probably just... I have to imagine this loops into general salaryman culture, but maybe there is something particular about insurance.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe it is a country with a lot of earthquakes, so...
This is true. So maybe. I found it hilarious that this episode looped round into, man, insurance really brings us together. It's something. It helps you rebuild.
Oh.
I'll quickly summarize the episode before I talk about the ending.
Yeah.
There are two kaiju out in the mountains, Red King and the other one that I don't really care about.
Yeah, from that one episode of Ultraman.
Yeah.
With the meteor.
Still looking bad decades later.
To be fair. Okay, actually not to be fair, there's actually arguably more harsh criticism. It is a new suit, for sure. But...
Ooh, yikes.
None of those suits lasted from the 60s.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
The thing about Gigas that I find hilarious is that it's still spelt Guigass. That's how it's anglicized, and it's clearly Gigas, like as in big.
You mean like how the one bird kaiju is romanized as Hydra?
Yes. Yes. Hydra's Hidora. Anyway, these two are going at it, but they're wandering out towards like towns. We learn that there is kaiju insurance. That of course there is, and we get to see incredible commercials for kaiju insurance.
This ad is amazing.
It's so good.
Good.
It's got Big Fuji and everything.
It has. Oh, they've slipped Big Fuji in here. Fantastic.
Yeah, also, I got some fun trivia from Citrixar. One, the fight between Gigas and Red King at the start of the episode just has the guitar riff music from Ultra Fight, if Red remembers that.
Hell yeah. I did not notice it in the episode, but hell yeah.
Second, the kaiju in the insurance ad is a kaiju called Gan Kiryu, which isn't from an Ultraman thing, but it was from a short film that Taguchi, the Blazers director, did in recent years.
Oh, that's fun. You know,
that's
squeeze
fun.
in your own little guy somewhere in Ultraman.
Yeah,
Get your OCs into Ultraman.
He's allowed. He's done some other Ultra shows, so... I'm not sure what the name of the actual thing is, but that's the name of the kaiju, at least.
Yeah. And we meet, I can't remember his name, I did not take down his name, a down on his luck salaryman.
It's
Tetsuo, who is working as an insurance salesman, and he's old school. He doesn't like calling people, he doesn't like doing that. He likes going door to door.
God.
Yeah.
Kill this man.
Old school in the year 2023 is using the phone.
Yep.
I do love how someone calls him out and is like, "This isn't the 80s anymore. Like, what are you doing?" It's,
I just love that by doing this they have positioned door-to-door sales as a virtuous act.
and not someone I want to leave.
Yes. It's very funny. But
Now to be fair,
he's-
if we'll get to it actually, but
he is going around a town, and he's getting nowhere until he meets one old lady who, again, I can't remember her name.
it's let me see my notes. I think it's Michiko.
Okay. Michiko accidentally leaves the oven on while he's got her at the door, and he feels so apologetic about this that he decides to just help her with everything. He fully just Emiya Shiro is just, I'm going to fix your house.
Yeah, and which is where I say maybe door-to-door salesmen could be virtuous if they did all my chores for me.
Yes. If the door-to-door salesman was also just like the most low-stakes superhero in the world. Tetsuo is going to save everyone in front of him. And that means he's going to wash her floor. He's going to change the lights in her rooms, in her house. He's going to go out and buy more food for her, and then he's going to enjoy a really nice meal at the end of it that she cooks for him, and he's like,
is this
in
the
tears.
most Hallmark movie ass episode of anything
You know what?
Ultra we've seen?
You're right, it is.
You're right. It's also pretty good.
I was thinking that I also liked it too, but I was thinking it the whole time. I'm like, I'm happy we got a Hallmark episode in like a week before Christmas.
It's so good. And he's like in tears almost because it's like the first homemade meal he's had in forever. This primarily made me remember. There's a show called Kyokai Senki, or AIM Warrior at the Borderline, which is the worst television show.
Sports.
Yeah, it was just the worst television show ever made. And there is a bit in episode 2, and it's written by the oldest men in the world, and you can tell immediately because there's a bit in episode 2 where he tastes home cooking for the first time in forever, because since Japan has been so, he just gets food from the convenience store, and he's like, oh my god, this is incredible.
Since
What
Japan
is this?
Been so what, Red? Please tell me.
Just like Japan has been Japan. See, the thing is, if you tell someone you're Japanese, you'll get arrested and thrown in jail. Basically, it's like a Code Geass thing, but all the countries, like they've got Europe is fighting over Japan, China is fighting over Japan, America is fighting over Japan, and it's classic. Oh, just being born Japanese in this world is a disadvantage. It's the dumbest anime ever made. It's written by incredibly old men. You can tell because there's an episode where a guy reveals himself to be quite good at plaster work, and an old guy says, and he's young, and the old guy says, "Oh, you're pretty good at that." And he says, "Yeah, I'm in the plasterwork esports division." What are you talking about, bro? But yes, that was all I could think of in this moment was Kyokai Senki.
I will never forget.
Blazar.
I will never forget when that anime first started and people tweeting on my timeline, did they make a fucking mecha show about anchor babies? And I was like, what? And then I looked at it and I'm like, oh my god, this seems horrific.
It was terrible. I do remember someone criticizing it, and loads of people into mecha on Twitter just reflexively defending it, and I was like,
"Oh, of course,
you don't have to do that. You don't have to go out of your way for this show. It's not good.
Yeah,
you can just chill out. It's good."
Do these people like Gundam Unicorn?
I don't know. Who knows?
Who can say?
Who could say? Anyway, he's this. The insurance agent is like, this is the first time I've eaten homemade stuff in forever. And he gives an encouraging speech to Michiko, who is like something about not seeing the point in going on anymore,
No,
really.
it's like,
because
yeah, backwards. I think he's just like,
Right,
and
yes.
the fact that all of his friends are doing cool things and he's just like salaryman, and then she's like, well, I've been drifting through life because after my husband died, but also the daily joys in life are good. And then she's like, I'm going to give you W, and signs the.
Yeah, because we get an excellent scene where he just gets home, and then he ordered like a little like takeout like meal thing, but there's no chopsticks, so he just kind of puts it aside and then starts doom scrolling and sees all of his friends at concerts and having fun, being social, and he's like, oh, I'm not doing anything with my life.
Yeah, this was like a 5 minutes in the episode.
He's like refuses to eat with his hands, and it's like, oh, I'm at the lowest of the low. Clearly not. You clearly got some dignity.
Yeah, one thing, you have an apartment.
Just grab, like, it's, you know, it's rice, it's clumped up, grab it with your fucking mitts. Anyway. The point is, she gives him the dub, and he's like, later on throughout the episode, he's like, oh yeah, she's introduced me to loads of other clients and stuff, and the virtuous door-to-door salesman has proved his worth.
Well, that's the end of the episode.
Well, no, it's like there's like a little bit in the. I think there's a little bit in the middle, and then it comes. Anyway, it might be at the end. You might be right.
Yes. What happens is that he signs the thing, and then the very next day, it's like, all the kaiju are in town. He's like, oh no, she's there. And meanwhile, everyone else in the company is like, well, we gotta nurse the phones because people might have insurance claims now.
Yes, and Tetsuo decides to go save a woman. And
she doesn't really particularly care about evacuating. She's like, oh,
she's like, yeah, I'm going to sit here and die. I'm going to go see my husband.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, I'm 80 or something, so it's fine. She's probably
done.
more like 70 or something.
And he's like, no, you have to enjoy your future. You have a life. And
he's like, yeah, the meal you cooked me is really good, so I do have to pay you back with life.
Yes. Meanwhile, Scard have deployed because kaiju are attacking. Earth Garon goes up against Gigas. Is doing all right. Red King, however, getting double teamed by Gigas and Red King does not go great for Earth Garon. And then it looks like Tetsuo carrying Michiko through the street just on his back, piggybacking, and it looks like they're going to die. And then Gento spots them and turns into Blazar and saves them. And then there is a 2v2, Earth Garon mostly versus Gigas, and Blazar mostly versus Red King. Then Gigas uses... Red King is not actually the one that really gets him. It's Gigas and the Frost Breath that gets Earth Garon and Blazar. I think the implication is that
Red King is like...
in charge.
And Gigas just his Ice Breath.
Red King is the alpha.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you're boosting your own ego through Red King here, but...
What could you possibly mean? Listen. Red King is the alpha. It's indisputable. And it takes Blazar. Unfortunately for Gigas, Blazar has fire powers.
Yeah, I was like,
so
Blazar gets frozen. I was like, oh man, if only Blazar had some sort of fire form.
Yeah.
Can I say, the Phoenix looks really silly this time around. You could tell it did not give the love and care it got in some of the other previous episodes.
Yeah, I mean, he's a CG Phoenix, so it doesn't look fast anyway.
Then he... Oh, go ahead.
We need to also highlight the Matador cape thing.
Yes. So, yes. Uses the light of the fucking sword blade thing as he's basically bullfighting Gigas when Red King's like, go on, go charge at him. And then he unfreezes Earth Garon, and then together they ruin Red King and Gigas, who go out clutching each other.
Yeah, like bros.
Which was cute.
Yeah. Also, Earthcarrier gets a win by proxy.
Yeah. Red King, not his best showing so far. His best showing still that one episode where he was the coolest guy in the whole universe, but it's difficult to compete with that.
Let's don't worry. There will be more appearances of Red King.
Hell yeah, of course there will. This was to be clear, this is not Red King. This is Red King 2. This is similar to a kaiju scene on an island somewhere.
Yeah, so I have like trivia about that later. Because I was like, well, it's interesting they say this specifically, Red King 2.
Okay.
We'll go to the rest of the episode later.
At a kaiju shelter or something, Michiko's like, damn, the day is saved, but my house is ruined. And Tetsuo's like, what do you mean? You can rebuild. That's what insurance is for. What a hero. And then at the end of the episode, his virtue has paid off. He's getting more clients. And the guy that's been bullying him he's now the weak link, and he's the one getting yelled at by the boss because his clients don't trust him. And
he's
and
now the
Tetsuo,
virgin insurance salesman.
Yeah,
because all his clients' homes got destroyed.
Yeah, Tetsuo walks off feeling like, oh, I'm the top dog now. This ending slightly evil in the sense that a good ending. There is now a new top dog in the insurance company, and someone else is now the bitch that gets their shit wrecked every day. And I'm like, okay,
and
that sucks.
And the boss is just like a hard but stern but well-meaning boss,
Mm-hmm.
He just wants to sell people dreams.
Yes, insurance is dreams.
So true.
Insurance is just, it's your future. It's for your family. It's for the good of all humankind.
If you think about
insurance companies have never exploited anyone.
If you really think about it, insurance is what makes us human.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And rather famously, nobody's ever murdered someone to collect their life insurance.
No one has ever done crimes for insurance reasons.
No one has ever burned down something. For the sake.
What we need is the version of this episode someone does the version of this episode where someone summons a kaiju specifically.
Oh yes,
yes. Oh, that's so big brained.
Guy just goes like, I'm summoning Gamora because I want insurance in that house.
Ide gives him the means. He's like Makishima from Psychopaths.
Guy who becomes a kaiju.
He's Makishima in Psychopaths, giving people the way to do kaiju-based crimes.
This is how I fund the activities that are to come.
It's all about showing society its faults.
And then meanwhile, Ide talks to he talks to his like Korean hacker friend about Godzilla and King Kong.
God.
I will.
Psychopaths is so good.
I will say this is probably one of the better episodes I feel in a while. I thought this was, except for, the ending was kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but I thought this was nice and heartfelt. I like how our Aizen guy here is, like, you feel for him, but also, too, like, the show never seems to really lose sight. Like, deep down, his desire for connection is also expressed in, like, a way that is like never completely free of like, oh, this guy has this selfish desire in him as well. Like every time he phrases like, oh, I clearly want you to like live, and we clearly have made some sort of like connection and friendship here, but he always like kind of couches it in like, I want to eat your cooking again, or even when she's like, oh, well, what else would you like to make me, he's really quick to be like, oh, well, I don't know, but then he immediately has an answer, but like it's very clear he just doesn't want to say it right away. And I like that aspect because it just feels so real of just these two people clearly get it wrong, but also there's this guy absolutely is in a vulnerable spot right now, and maybe is, I don't want to say taking advantage, but he's using this woman to fill a hole in his life that his work has left him with. But I liked how it landed.
Maybe it's
overall.
okay to say taking advantage when he is giving her insurance.
That is true.
Yeah, the insurance angle on this is a little unhinged. But this is just I assume this is just. I assume insurance just has a better rep in Japan than it does else.
Maybe.
I mean,
maybe.
I was thinking about this
this is a kids show. Technically, kind of.
I mean, yeah, he's selling toys.
Yes.
I was thinking about this a lot, this episode in particular, but I took like a history of Japan like studies like thing or whatever at my university like way back in the day. And I distinctly remember the professor in that class talking about like something you have to keep in the back of your mind with a lot of decisions and just like cultural things in Japan too is just the proclivity for natural disasters like in that area as well will inform like a lot of like various like views on life and cultural things and stuff like that. And I was thinking about that a lot where I'm like, I wonder how that intersects with like the cultural like or even just like the business of insurance over there and stuff too, because I'm sure that that's different than like out here. So
I mean, I do like this episode. I enjoyed it, but also the thing that I actually have to talk about in the episode is just the fact that it feels like it's basically what if you made a movie about like a heroic car salesman who was like every time he tried to push you up to a quote unquote better deal, it was like, oh yeah, he's a good guy for this.
It's funny you mention that because due to circumstances beyond my control, I ended up watching a bad Mark Wahlberg movie where he is a protagonist who is a used car salesman yesterday. I won't be talking about it because it's bad and not worth anyone's time. But it's just because
Mark Wahlberg movie.
I will say, a few years back, there was an article that came out. I work in the automotive industry, by the way. Not because I have any passion for it. It's just kind of where I wound up with, doing what I do. But a few years back, there was an article that was like, millennials don't want to become used car salesmen. And so many fucking old people in the industry. And you were like, it's so Jover. It was so fucking funny to watch.
Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, we used to be a country now. So, yeah, the actual fight this episode is fine. I think they could have got more out of Red King. But he does okay. He does his thing where he slaps his neck a little bit. He hits him.
Does some knuckle cracking.
Yeah.
Oh, when he cracks his knuckles, I'm like, let's go. And then he
I appreciate how they set aside their differences immediately to have a tag team 2-on-2 match.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I like the idea that across time, Gigas and Red King are just always fighting the same fight over and over again.
They're like Jun and Pegula.
They're like Jun and Pegula, yes.
Yeah.
Or Ide and Jun, when it happens.
One day I'm gonna don't say it, and the Red King's like jackpot.
That does happen. There is a jackpot this episode.
Wait, what?
I forgot this.
There's like they combined the shot at the end to do the Devil May Cry jackpot.
That's true.
Oh, I see.
It's It's funny.
Yeah.
This is true. All right. Do we have anything more to say about this episode?
Yeah, I just got a few things I'll throw in.
Go for it.
Well, one, I like the little detail where, Henri's work in the start of the episode, like you see Henri and Yasunobu. One, they seem to be good friends as like, they almost feel like the rookies of the group in a way, except they're not, but
Yeah.
But like Yasunobu was like, oh, I'm just working on the upgrades for Earth Garon, so I get me ready to space.
Hell yeah.
Just a thing to throw out there.
Space Garon.
I like the detail. Dorotaki is like, okay, so there's one kaiju is like Red King from this one island. We don't know who this other guy is, so we call him Gigas. I thought it was a nice world building touch that they know who Red King is. And they mentioned from Tatari Island, which is like the island from Monster Anakin's own we call Tatar Island. I looked this up, so fun little winks and nods.
Cool.
From the guy whose favorite show is Ultraman.
Yeah, never could have discerned this.
Yeah. Also, just because they specifically said Red King 2 or Red King Gen 2, I was like, okay, I want to look at like the origins of that, specifically rolling back the clock, because it's a thing I knew about Red King, like even from the S60 show. That like at least on the Ultraman wiki, they're like, oh yeah, the Red King from episode 8 of Ultraman is Red King, and then Red King 2 is the one from the Sweet Fun episode.
Oh, okay. So that split happens right. Oh yeah, because Red King gets fucking got in Monster Energy
but also the one in if you look the design for the one in the episode is kind of different. It's a different suit. Because it looks. I can show pictures. Let me find it. And like I was looking for the reason for this, and so I looked at Ultopia because that's the good source for like that generation of Ultra Show. Unfortunately, don't really have it for Return of Ultraman anymore, but but yeah, just like the OG Red King suit.
They look like buddies in here, Ultraman and Red King.
They should be buddies. And then here's like
Ultraman's not buddies with anyone.
That's true. And then here's like the one from the other episode.
Okay.
So
these look fairly similar, except the top one has completely black eyes.
Yeah. And also the coloration's a bit different, and this was like I think some of the shapes been warped a bit, and so
the second one looks less like a corn cob.
Yeah. And so I looked it up, and apparently, according to Ultopia, like the original Red King suit was originally repurposed for a Boras from the Red versus Blue episode of Ultraman.
Oh, so they had to make a second Red King suit.
No, they repurposed the suit back into Red King.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Which it probably explains why it's kind of like not exactly one-to-one design. Like the designs shift a bit. It's maybe a bit more bluish compared to yellow. They had to make a new head mold for the new suit head. And
to be honest, I can see that now that I look.
Yeah, because you can see the whites of the eyes more in the second one. Apparently, according to Ultopia again, I'll put the links in the description as usual. But like because there's a scene where like Red King like tracks Pigmon with his eyes. There's like a mechanism inside the original Red King suit's eyes, which they control with wires, which is cool. And then they didn't have that for the second suit. So
okay,
that's some interesting, 1966 behind the scenes stuff, because we hadn't really touched Ultopia much until like the tail end of Ultraman, and mostly used it in the Ultra 7 season.
Yeah.
So yeah,
all right, cool.
So there's the origins of like a Red King Gen 2. I know. Yeah,
like so them saying like Red King 2 and this is like a Red King from this island is not actually them gesturing to the idea that we're going to do more Red King later. It is literally just Ultraman lore.
Yeah, basically. And like I don't think the distinction even really matters that much in terms of like it feels like a thing where it's like merchandising or a lore thing, where it's like this design, this slightly different blue shade of Red King is the merch toy this week, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is this one of those things, I'm curious, as the series goes on, do they try to differentiate Red King 1 and 2 with, like, different abilities or, like, temperament? Like, that feels like a thing that a long-running franchise would do.
I mean, I guess I'm not sure, because, like, it depends on, like, what other forms of Red King we get.
Or is Red King 2 maybe the only one that shows up and everyone just fucking forgets about Red King 1?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure. Like, Red King is in a lot of things, and, like, different ones will call back to different things. So, because he is, like, one of the classic guys, so.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see specifically how they call back to him and what designs they do. And, like, I guess just for this time, they were like, we're going to do this design because we're using Guigas, but, you know, other ones might call back more to his Monster Anarchy Zone design.
If I was doing our Ultraman fanfic where Ide summons a kaiju for insurance money, summon Red King 1, and then when they thought the threat was over, ladies and gentlemen, a second Red King has entered the city.
A second Red.
All right. Well.
Yeah.
Do we have a color timer for this episode?
We do. Oh my god. This is bad.
What's
10
bad?
minutes.
No. I put in the start time but didn't put the end time in my notes.
Oh,
Oops.
like technical issues, this is bad.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like, oh, they really were stretching it with this one. I was in a much more innocent headspace.
Yeah. Oh, hold on a second. I'm sorry for all this, you know.
That is all right.
Yeah, we're work on it. The very important segment, the color timer.
Yeah. It is important.
Yeah,
We got to keep them honest.
Yeah, even
Not
though
that
there's nothing.
they're very honest in this one.
Yeah, not
Because
that.
they don't have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing to lie about in the first place.
Yeah.
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 Until, what if in the
Gento.
final episode
Unlike
they're
Gento,
like,
who-
oh, his 60-second timer.
Yeah, nothing to lie about except for Gento with his wife.
Gento is always
Yeah.
lying. Yeah.
The hero, everyone.
Gento is a hero. It doesn't take... I'm going to be honest. It doesn't take much to be a hero in Ultraman. You just have to kill things. You don't have to be particularly heroic about it.
Okay.
2023 really is the year of kaiju stuff and lying to your wives when you go out to do something dangerous, huh?
Yes.
This is a very specific thing to be a year of, but you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, anyways, 4 minutes, 11 seconds.
4 minutes, 11 seconds is the color timer for this week. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Is there anything more to say about episode 22 of Ultraman Blazar?
Can I talk about the next time on? I have some thoughts.
I don't think I saw the next time on. What happens?
Yeah, next time on.
Delanton Doll, or however
What?
his name. Yeah.
Why is
Dalton
it-
Doll. What's his fucking name again?
Daltandle.
The Daltandle is back. But also Tangular is back
Yeah,
as
Tangular.
well.
And there's like a million of them or something. I don't know. There's like a dozen of them.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of them. Because at first I was like, oh, come on, we're not doing the flying one for a third episode, are we? And then I realized, like, oh, wait, no. Someone else is coming back too, and it looks like there's a bunch of them. That makes it
Okay.
different and exciting
Yeah,
again.
this is different.
It's
Yeah.
episode 23. Assuming the past few years have been consistent episode length, we're like 3 more episodes left of the show.
I
Alright.
have a feeling this is like setting up like, oh, big invasion, like
Yeah,
real shit is hitting the
'cause,
fan.
it doesn't
like
come up in this
something's going
episode,
on.
but like before the OP, Red King and Gigas stop their fight and look up to the sky at something, and we never see what that is, but it is like a thing I noticed when watching the episode.
Oh shit, you're right.
Yeah. Also, it's the holiday, so we're not having an episode for a couple weeks. So we're not recording the episode for next week.
Yes. So we're not recording next week, but there will be an Ultra Q because we have recorded a 1 week buffer, knowing that this was going to happen.
Yep.
And
Definitely planned.
You didn't hear that.
we had the perfect plan, and it all went off without a hitch, and everything is good. Do not worry, listener. We're very good at this.
Yeah. So skipping the queue will probably be back in like 2 weeks. I imagine there will be at least 1 week where there isn't a Blazar during the holidays, because that's been the trend. Probably around New Year's.
Hopefully.
If not, we'll have...
yeah.
If not,
we'll come back and we'll have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, big episode.
The biggest
if it's 2
episode
episodes,
in history.
If it's 2 episodes, that's fine. If it's 3 episodes, that'd be awful. That'd just be an Ultra Q for the last episode of Blazar.
That would be pretty funny. That would be pretty funny.
But yeah, we'll have an episode. Well, this is skipping the queue, so we don't have to talk about the Ultra Q schedule. But anyway,
no, we don't have to talk about the Ultra Q schedule. All right. Well, I think that's an episode. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do so at @ultra_Q. That is at @ultra_QUEUE. I am also on Twitter at @gender_redacted. Mel.
At Dick Rounds on the sites. UltraQPod is the Gmail. UltraQFund is the coffee. I got more stuff I'm ripping at the moment. It's pricey.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the last thing I need to really get and rip, but we'll have to get subs at some point. Also, I spent too much of my own money with that stuff.
Oh no. Well,
at least I'm employed now.
Yes.
But also, yes, please do support.
And Razan.
Yeah, if you're looking for some, if you want to catch up on the Tekken story in time for Tekken 8, me and my friend Jake got a live stream series for you. We're going through all the Tekken relevant story modes / arcade modes in time for 8, and we've already done 1 and 2, and then later today we're gonna do 3 and 4.
Was the story really good?
Those 2 ending cutscenes were kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then for good measure, I saw a couple other ending cutscenes for Tekken 2.
Are you going to do Tekken Force?
That's up to vibes when we get there.
Okay. I see. I understand.
But yeah, that's at Rasenbran, RASENBRAN, and hopefully more Elden Ring coming out soon. I was trying to get some more out last week, and then I was accosted by unhinged people on the internet, and I just kind of spent most of my time offline being normal instead of dealing with that. So you know.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I made fun of Seed fans, and Yick fans got mad at me instead. It was incredible.
We can't talk about the Yick fans. We can't talk about the Yick fans. We can't do it.
Yeah,
I don't want them near me.
That's valid. No, that's fair.
All right. Well, we will be back sometime. So look forward to it. It'll happen. You'll see it.
Yeah.
We'll post about it. Bye bye for now.
Have a good one.
Later, gang.